Spring is a time for growth and change and maybe even a rebrand. Marketing expert and CEO of WJ Agency, Ryan Townend, joins us with more. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning. How's it going?
I'm doing really good. Feeling like spring here this week.
Spring it is.
Yes, and all about, that growth, change, and talking about reasons why brands and companies might rebrand. What are companies looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? The world is an ever-changing place, and companies have to rebrand sometimes to stay relevant. There's lots of reasons why companies rebrand. Sometimes it's just natural evolution. Their logo from the 1980s isn't as cool as it should be in 2020s, and we need to really kind of bring their brand forward. It's one reason. You have times where there's crisis management. Things don't go well in a company, and they try to advance forward, and their old reputation is holding them back. So then they would have to rebrand, maybe under a new name, a new look and feel, so that they could come up with a new value and a new promise. Yeah.
Okay.
We also look at things like mergers and acquisitions. That's when companies are coming together, and what they're doing is they're needing to create a new entity. We look at target audience shifts, those Gen Zs that we talk a lot about on Global. They're demanding things that are a little different than millennials. So there's lots of reasons. And I think, lastly, I just want to talk about is globalization. Brands are now not staying local. They're talking to the world. And so that they have to be sensitive that their story appeals to a wider audience.
What are some considerations when it comes to these rebrands? And that's a lot of reasons someone might look at a rebrand.
Yeah, you have to be very strategic in what you do to understand so that you don't alienate your existing audience as you go after new audiences. But even just from a pure execution perspective, everything's digital now. So really complex logos that you used to see on big billboards have to now get scaled down to like little pixels on a screen. So sometimes now you'll see that the attention to detail becomes more simple in new rebrands just because of that reason.
And a few examples of popular longtime brands this morning, starting off with Pringles.
Pringles. Well, the little gentleman has now lost his hair, if you've noticed. Pringles came out with this new look showing how the chips are really stackable. But the one thing that I think is very obvious is it's a crisp look, it's cleaner, and again, it's easy to replicate from big to small.
Okay, and the fast food chains as well, Burger King being one of them.
Burger King, their way of going forward was going back. So they took more of a retro look, like the little blue swoosh is gone. The logo is way more simplified. The uniforms have a little bit more of a retro feel. And I think what they're trying to show is like old school values and that sense of nostalgia as they push forward. And I know we've talked about that on Global too, is about how retro is really big with brands.
And Starbucks, popular, also changing as well.
Yeah, so Starbucks dropped their name and the word coffee from their logo. And the reason why they did that was very smart. Now they can transcend different food items, so they're not just a coffee chain. They can sell different types of products and services under their umbrella. And again, I think Starbucks has got to that mega level where they probably don't need their name. Their logo, the siren, is recognizable across the globe. It's kind of like the Nike swoosh.
Right. It stands out, green and simple.
Very simple.
Okay. And then, of course, last year's rebrand of the social media platform Twitter to X. This was a big one on social media.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Some people loved it. Some people hated it. Brand experts would say that they lost anywhere between $4 to $20 billion in brand equity when the little bird took off, and Elon made his midnight move with changing the branding. On the other side, it opened up new doors. Now they can really position themselves as a new entity with a new focus and vision going forward. I think anything that Elon touches has a bit of an out-of-the-box approach. So I don't think it was surprising that happened under his review. But anyways, from a branding perspective, they would consider that not best practices.
Okay, it gets the people talking, though.
But here we are talking about it on Global.
Well, thank you so much, Ryan. Great examples this morning on Advice. Thank you.